Yo, what's going on, Planet S.O.N family? It's your main man, JD. Thank you for tuning in. This is Drinks with JD. My main man, Cash.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you so much for being here on Drinks with JD.
It's a pleasure.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Pleasure.
All right, so since it's our first time sitting down together, can you please introduce yourself to the Planet S.O.N audience? Can you please let them know who you are, what you do, and where you're from?
Absolutely. So I go by Cash. Also go by Cash Mr. 714. And I'm from Santana, California. And I'm an artist, I'm a rapper, an entrepreneur. I mean, there's just so many different things that I dabble in, but my passion is music, and that's what I do. I'm an artist.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
All right, man. Do you mind if I could take it back a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So, first song that I heard from you was back in 2017, right? And when I heard it, I was like, man, this dude got some flow. This is amazing. So I started just looking you up, and ever since then, since 2017 to today, I mean, you've done so much, right? From dropping different singles with different artists from different states in the United States. You've also grown your presence on the internet, right? As far as from your streams to even right now, you got over 5,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Yes, and even all together, your videos and your tracks have been viewed over 1 million times.
Yes, sir.
So, like I said, from 2017 to today, how proud are you of yourself for accomplishing so much in your hip hop career?
Man, that's a question that I've never been asked, bro. That's a good question. I'm definitely proud of myself, myself, my team, people around me. It's been a long journey, and like you said, my internet presence, my social media presence and streams all show the results of the hard work and, the dedication, the investment, the time, the money, all the long nights in the studio doing shows, like whatever it is that is music related. It's like I'm on top of it, so it's showing. This year has definitely been huge for me. The last 2 years actually have been pretty big for me, and I'm definitely proud of what I've been able to accomplish, and it's just motivating me to get so much more done, and not only for myself, but to be able to open up doors for others, because that's the biggest thing that I want to do, man.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. And what about your family and your closest friends? Do they support you? Do they encourage you?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I touch on this quite a bit on in my social media sometimes, and it's not to bash on anyone, but it's sort of to kind of shed light and motivate others, because when you're an artist and you're doing something that requires you to kind of isolate yourself and separate yourself from the normal day-to-day things that everyone else kind of does, or the normal lifestyle that everyone else lives, where it's like, you work and then you party on the weekends and you go back to work, and as an artist, you're usually working more towards the end of the week, and during the week you're more relaxed. So,
exactly.
A lot of people have difficulty kind of grasping the idea of my lifestyle. So, of course, there's support. I mean, there's nobody telling me, hey, you shouldn't do what you're doing, or because obviously they see that it's working.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing to take from that is that you shouldn't expect it. It shouldn't be something that as an artist you should expect your friends, your close ones, anyone to really support you. The majority of the time, love comes from strangers and people that don't know you, have never met you, and that's just how it is when you're an artist. But it's not something where it's like, people are telling me to quit, or it's not something that's affecting me negatively. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't bother me if people weren't supporting. But shout out to my family, my friends, everybody that's close to me, because they're people that come to my shows, and they listen to my music, they share it, and I know who those people are. So I definitely feel the support.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. So let's also take it back before we get into the music a little bit. Well, you know how you mentioned how you're from Santana?
Yes, sir.
Right? So where specifically were you born and raised within Santana?
Well, the city of Santana has a street called Santana Boulevard.
Okay.
And it runs basically from like downtown Santa Ana to like basically where the next city, which is Garden Grove, Westminster, kind of starts. And that's where I grew up, is downtown Santa Ana.
Mm-hmm.
And it divides a lot of different, it's like the center of the city, and it divides every other little region of Santa Ana. So I was right there, right in the middle. I went to Garfield Elementary, Sierra Intermediate, and Santa Ana High School. So, you know, that's something that to this day, it's where I'm from, is where I was created, that's the city that made me who I am. So even though I live out here in the IE area, that Santa Ana is in my heart, you know. So that's my city.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Now, I guess just so you know how you're mentioning your family a little bit right now. Can I ask, where are your parents from? From
Mexico City.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where they were born, and then, you know, they came here obviously for better opportunities, and I'm grateful and thankful that they did that, because, you know, that's how I'm here where I'm at now. And yeah, I mean, my background is pretty diverse as far as like what I was listening to growing up, but being from Mexico City, I think anyone that's from there would know how crazy it is down there. So,
no doubt. And both your parents are from Mexico City?
Yeah, well, they met in Mexico City. My mom was actually originally born in Guerrero.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my dad was born in Mexico City, but my mom moved to Mexico City when she was a very, very little girl, and she lived there basically her whole life, even though she was born in Guerrero.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, they're from Mexico City.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what they claim. You know?
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
For sure.
Okay. So, growing up, were you ever interested in something else other than music?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a kid, it's like you're a little sponge. You know, you're learning. I was into soccer. I was into, acting. Man, there's so many different things that I was coaching a little league kids soccer team, just a bunch of different things. But eventually, you know, when the music started really making some noise for me, I was like, you know what, this is it. But
like, this is what I want to do.
I dabbled in a couple other things. I'd say mostly, you know, soccer, sports. If I wouldn't have been an artist, I'd be chasing maybe not a player, like a professional soccer player, but, you know, like a coach, or like I was in college. I was actually studying kinesiology.
Wow.
So I was you know, thinking about, like, you know, being like a physical therapist, or like helping players recover from injuries, or, you know, and because when they get injured, it's not only physical, it's just a lot of mental health that goes into that. So I was really getting into that, on how to like help players kind of like maintain through their injuries and stuff. But like I said, once the music started kicking off, man, I was like, tunnel vision.
No doubt.
Everything else just went out the window.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Now, when did you know that you were interested in music?
I mean, I've been interested in music since I was a kid. As far as I can remember, 4 or 5 years old, I was already like rapping along to songs and, you know, things like that. But I think it was in 2010, 2009, 2010, when I linked up with 3 other artists, and we created something called Purple Productions.
Okay, yes.
And that was when it was kind of like a hobby thing, but then it started getting serious, because that was right around the MySpace era.
Okay.
So when the MySpace era happened, it allowed us to put our music out and for people all over the world to listen to it. So obviously, you know, people all over the world were listening to it, but it was getting a lot of regional attention in Orange County and out here in IE. And I started noticing that people were really like, hey, it sounds good, I like it. Started getting booked for shows. And then from there, it was just like an eye-opener, like, hey, I love to do this, and I can make this lucrative. I can make some money, I could turn this into a business. So I took it upon myself to learn all the business end of it, and that was like in 2010. So it's been 11 years.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about, man. You know, you mentioned Purple Productions right now. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
So Purple Productions was actually just an idea. Back in 2007, when I was still living in Orange County, me and another buddy of mine, his name is Jesus, we used to just make beats. Well, he made beats, I kind of made beats too, and I would write lyrics and just kind of like make songs, but never really record them or really put them anywhere.
Yeah.
And we came up with I came up with the name Per Productions, and it was just me and him. And then I moved out here, and I already had my music thing kind of just going for myself. And then I found these 3 other artists, and then they kind of we just merged together, and then we became Per Productions. Like, it was an idea that I started, but it really didn't come to fruition, and it wasn't really as efficient as it was until the other 3 joined. And we were, man, when it was the 4 of us, we were killing it. We were, doing all kinds of shows, and we were getting features, and we were getting radio play, out of California. It was just so much attention, and I had always known since I was starting as an artist that I was gonna be more successful by helping others. I already knew that by me being by myself and doing everything on my own, it was going to take me way longer, and I wasn't going to enjoy it as much as having other people that came up with me from nothing, from the mud, from recording in my closet. That's where we used to record.
That's awesome,
in my closet.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's what Per Productions was initially. It was just a group, 4 of us, and we were just making music. Our first big show was opening up for Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Wow.
In Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard at the Old School Key Club. And then from there we took off. We started doing DJ Quick, the Dog Pound, YG, Snoop Dogg. Then we did a big festival in Orange County, and at that festival we had Big Sean, Kendrick Lamar, E40.
Oh, even
Too
Nipsey
Short,
Hussle as well,
Nipsey.
right?
Yeah, we opened up for Nipsey in 2011, and I think
Rest
it was
in peace,
Pasadena. Rest in peace to Nipsey, man. And he was like where you're sitting. That's where he was when we were just at the show. And come to later on, he just became a legend. But that we went through a lot of good experiences as a group, and it really helped mold me as an artist and as a businessman. Now when I do the moves that I make, it's smooth. It's like clockwork, and it's all thanks to all the grind and all the work that was put in with Per Productions.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I like to ask this to hip hop artists who I interview. When did you know that you fell in love with hip hop?
I think 9th grade, the beginning of 9th grade, when I was a freshman in high school, because one of my homies that recently passed away, his name is George Carter.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. He's the one that got me into this music thing. He used to just freestyle.
Okay.
And he had a couple of written, songs here and there, just some minor stuff. But at school, we used to just freestyle. And I remember once he would start rapping, it was like the crowd was just, it was like, whoa. And I always liked music. I always enjoyed music. I would listen to Tupac and, Snoop Dogg and all those artists even before high school. But one day I remember I picked up a paper and a pencil, and I wrote a rap. And then I went back to school the next day, and I was like, rapping it for everybody, and like nobody believed that I wrote it because it was good. It was some good stuff. So they were like, "Where'd you get this from? You downloaded these lyrics from somewhere, or who helped you write this?" And I was like, "No, that's me." Yeah. And that's when I was like, "Okay, I might be good at this." And we did something called Battle of the Bands.
Oh, wow.
In high school.
Yeah.
So we were up there on stage and doing our little hip hop thing, and that's when I was like in love with music, and it was just purely for the love of it.
Wow.
There was no business, no money, nothing was influencing it. It was just me just liking to write and rap and hear the reaction from people. That's really what it was. It was just the love of it.
No doubt. All right, bro. So what's your favorite part of being a music artist?
Wow. I'm not gonna say everything about it, but as an artist, there's a creative process when you're in the studio coming up with the music, and then there's the whole like marketing, the whole like shooting the video and getting the concept for like the artwork. So like I really enjoy every step of the way.
Wow.
I think the creative process is what I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Being able to see something come to life from nothing, from hearing a beat
Yes.
and saying, okay, boom, what feel do I get, and just rapping on it to like, oh man, look at that video's about to hit 1 million views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That whole process right there, I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Before, a couple years ago, if you would have asked me that question, I would have said performing.
Okay.
But with COVID,
Yes.
it made me realize that there's much more to enjoy as far as being an artist than just performing. Because, you know, obviously that's the pinnacle. You know, when you're up there performing in front of thousands of people,
Yes.
there's no feeling that can match that, you
Yes.
know? But through COVID, I learned that the creative process is really where you really like,
That's where the magic's at.
it's like, as you're transparent, it's like you can't fake that. On stage you could like, okay, you can kind of control the crowd based on, but when you're like really by yourself creating something from scratch, it's like, it's just like, it's transparent, it's so organic, it's so natural. And taking an idea like that to putting it on a video on YouTube and going around and performing it, it's crazy to watch the process. So yeah, it's definitely the whole process that's my favorite part.
That's what I'm talking about, man. So what's the toughest part of being a music artist, in your opinion?
The money.
The money. Okay.
The money, cause man, us artists, we're underpaid, bro.
Okay.
I mean, they pay us percentages of a penny per stream, not even a penny per stream, you know? And I think at the end of the day, there's so much that as an artist you put into your music career, and you don't always see the return right away. So like, having faith and being persistent and not giving up, like, it's taken a lot. You know, for me, it's taken a lot from me, like a lot of time and days of hours of my life that I'm never gonna get back that I've given to this, and I'm still pursuing something. And at the end of the day, it's like a lot of people gave up because they probably didn't see the results as fast as they wanted. But I mean, I was in that position. I wasn't seeing results as fast as I wanted, but I'm still here.
Exactly.
And I think that's been the toughest part, knowing that like I've worked with other people and other artists that I know are as talented or sometimes even more talented than I am.
Yes.
And to not see them in the same position that I'm in,
No
you know?
doubt.
Because it's like, I want them there. I want all my people to grow and win with me. I want to eat and feed. I want to help my homies' families, you know what I mean? I want to help my family, but I want to, you know, become Uncle Cash. You feel me? And it's like, that's the hardest part, because you can't take everybody with you, bro. You can't. It's like Snoop Dogg said it best in an interview. He's like, the hardest part for him is knowing when to leave people behind. At what point do you cut people off? At what point do you say, man, I've given you enough opportunities, enough time to you know, do something for yourself? And a lot of times people just don't do it, you know? So for me, that's been the hardest part, like just kind of evolving as an artist and maneuvering and having to sometimes cut people off, and it's mostly because they hand me the scissors, you know?
You know, you kind of reminded me of something. There's a saying, I forgot exactly who said it, and I'm not gonna say it verbatim, but it was something like, sometimes the blessing that God gives you isn't for everyone. You know, so I mean, yes, like you were mentioning earlier, how you want to help. You know, that's just in you. You know, you want to help your friends and your family. However, you know, sometimes, you know, maybe that's not their blessing. You know, that's not what God wants for them. You know, so I completely understand what you're saying, and I can see how tough it can be.
Yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself that some things that I just can't control. And that's very hard for me, because I'm the type of person, I'm a controlling person. I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
So I stay in control all the time.
Okay.
Every situation, I don't drink. I don't like to get drunk because I lose control. I feel clumsy. I like to be focused and always know what's going on, my surroundings, be in control of the situation. And when I come across things that I can't control, like other people's will, dedication, and what they're, you know,
Exactly.
that kind of gets to me, because it's like, man, like I wish I could just say something or do something that's gonna make you want to just push yourself more. But some people, like you said, it's just not meant for everybody.
Exactly.
So, you know,
No,
we
no.
just got to come to terms with that as artists sometimes, and just keep it pushing.
No doubt, my brother. No doubt. Well, you right now you were mentioning Snoop, right, and how he had some some inspiring words. I guess you could say that you took. What artists have inspired you?
Oh man, there's a lot. Probably too many to name.
Okay.
I mean, I love hip hop. I love the art of music, and I mean, I think it shows in my music, you know, because a lot of people. This goes back to thank you for not asking me this, because everybody asks me, oh, how do you feel being labeled a Chicano rapper? And it's like, that's just such a common question.
Yeah.
To me, it's not about the label of what type of artist you consider yourself to be. It's more of who are your musical influences, you know? So when people ask me who influenced you, almost everybody, bro.
Yeah.
I could tell you Tupac, I could tell you Snoop Dogg, I could tell you Luis Miguel, I could tell you Jose Jose, I could tell you Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, I could tell you, you know, so many different artists that I listen to in different genres.
Yes.
But I think my biggest influences are you know, the classic West Coast hip hop artists, like you know, Snoop Dogg, the Dogg Pound, Corrupt, Tupac. You know, I enjoy a lot of the East Coast hip hop as well, like Nas, Jay-Z. My favorite artist of all time is Big L.
Oh wow, no doubt.
A lot of people don't know that, and it's like Big L had a short span. His career was short because he got killed.
Exactly.
But
rest in peace, Big L.
Yeah, man, his music, and it wasn't really like he wasn't making songs like classic songs, but just his rhyme scheme, the way he expressed himself on the mic, and he was definitely ahead of his time. So when I was listening to that, there was no other rapper that sounded like Big L that even came close to him. So that was probably one of my biggest inspirations. It was Big L, and then obviously Tupac and, you know, Biggie and them. But that's my favorite artist. Now, as far as what do I think translates into my music, everything, bro.
Okay.
Like I said, Nirvana, like Mexican music, like every possible genre that I've ever listened to. Sometimes I catch myself writing or rapping, and I'm like, man, that sounds like something Kurt Cobain said or would have said, and it just kind of twisted in a different way. Or a lot of the Spanish music that I listen to and I translate into English bars, and people ask me like, how did you come up with that? And I'll be like, hey, haven't you ever heard this song in Spanish? Oh yeah, well that's basically that idea translated into English. You know?
That's what I'm talking about.
And it's like, it's just, I think it just happens so fast. It's a subconscious influence. It's not something where you're sitting there like, I want to sound like this, I want to copy this. No, it's like, what do you feel? What comes to you when you listen to this beat? So I like to consider myself very versatile because of all the wide range of influences that I've had.
No doubt. That's what I'm talking about, man. All right, my brother. So throughout your music, right, in English songs, you drop like one little Spanish word here and there, right?
Yeah.
Now, with your latest single called Bala Fria, the entire song is in Spanish, right?
Yes, sir.
So how important is it to you to display that part of your culture?
Extremely. I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to do that. Because Balas Frias is like a 2-year-old song. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. Okay.
I'm telling you something here exclusive that I don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
That's a 2-year-old song, bro. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
And
forgive me dude, I love the song. And the video is amazing.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's one of my
ahead.
favorite songs. We worked pretty hard on the whole song, like the production behind it, the writing and the engineering, the video, like everything was
dope, man.
very, very well thought out and planned. But I think it's really important for me to display that part of me as an artist and my culture, because when in the beginning of 2020, in February of 2020, I got picked up by La Vuelta Records. When I got picked up by La Vuelta Records, I got a deal through them to distribute my music through Empire.
Okay.
So Empire has a pretty good range of artists, you know. But from what I was coming with in at the time, they wanted me to focus mostly on West Coast music. So I started working with artists of the likes of Young Drummer Boy, Slim 400, you know, so on and so forth. Now those records are, you know, typical West Coast records, but I've had these Spanish records, and based on the strategy that they wanted to put in place, it wasn't time for me to put out these songs yet, because I didn't really have a buzz, or as you mentioned earlier, that online, that social media presence. So in a way, they were right. I felt like if I would have put those songs out in the beginning of 2020, they might have fell onto deaf ears. So because of all the work that I did leading up to those songs, now those songs are recognized more. They're like, well, okay, those are dope. So it was very, very important for me to put those out. I kept bugging my manager. I kept like, man, tell Empire I need to drop this. And my manager was like, hold on, wait. Like, no, it's not. It's a good song. And he's like, I love the song, but it's not the right time. You gotta make these moves and then get your streams up, get your Spotify, you know, presence up, and then I mean, I'm releasing more music now that's in Spanish, because to me that's my first language. It is. That's not the first language that I ever spoke was Spanish. So then obviously I learned English in school, but my parents didn't speak English to me growing up, and for me to be able to speak my first natural language, people ask me, isn't it harder to rap in Spanish? Nope. To me, it's easier. It's so easy for me to write in Spanish, because I have so many words that I rhyme. It's crazy. It's like I can never run out of words to rhyme in Spanish. So I feel like now that I'm in a better position as an artist to be able to release this like Spanish music, it's giving me the creative freedom to be like, this is who I really am.
No doubt.
You know?
That's what I'm talking about, man. Well, like I mentioned before, the song is dope. I love the video.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm happy you were able to release it.
Yes, sir.
So, speaking about Spanish, right? Spanish stuff. This song that I'm going to mention right now, it's not in Spanish. However, it's titled in Spanish, right? And it's called El Rey, which translates into the king, right? Now, in the first verse of that song, you mentioned how you're the king of Santana hip hop, right? And I guess this is a two-part question. One is, did you ever strive, like was that your goal to be the king of hip hop in Santana? And also, why is that important to you?
Well, I didn't strive for that.
Okay.
And I still don't. It's just, I feel like it is what it is. That's what it is. And not to be like, because I'm a humble person, but at the end of the day, you have to give yourself value, and you have to understand and love yourself first. And like Biggie said, if you're not in this music thing to be the best, get out.
That's right.
Simple as that. So I feel like, there's a lot of talent in the city of Santana, and where I'm from, there's a lot of talented artists, a lot of people that have, you know, a good track record and stuff like that. But I mean, I go based off what I see. I see the numbers, I see the features that I've worked with, I see the consistency and the dedication that I put into my music and representing my city. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, there's no other artist doing it like me in Santana. That's the reason why I say that. And it's not to downplay anyone else or to diss anyone else, or it's just, I truly feel like I got the crown right there, because until I see other artists, I mean, there are other artists. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm gonna say shout out to my boy Doughboy Tony. Okay. You know what I mean? Doughboy Tony. He's from Santana, and he's definitely he's younger, but he's definitely killing the game. Yeah. And that kid will eventually be the king of Santana. No doubt. Know? But I'm the king right now. No
doubt. Or maybe it could be even a Mount Rushmore type of thing in Santana, where all y'all could have some shine as well.
Hey man, I'm all for that, bro. And I do that more to motivate others, because I know that some people might feel some type of way, and it's gonna push them to go harder. Yeah. And I feel like I've been doing this for so long, and in my city with the artists that I've worked with and the shows that I've been on, and you know, the amount of views and the recognition, there's really no one else right now in my city that can say that they have the same accolades. And I don't get the recognition for it. I do that myself. But to go back to the first part of your question, I never strived to be hood famous.
Okay.
My goals have always been mainstream. My goals have always been outside of my city. That's why I work with artists outside of California, and I try to get out as much as possible, because I know that that's where the love is going to come from. And strangers are going to put money in your pockets, not the people you grew up with.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, the people that you grew up with, they came from the same place you came, and sometimes they have a hard time understanding how you were able to do so much and they were not able to do as much as they wanted to. And to them, I tell them, I'm not better than you. It's not that. It's just we all have the same 24 hours in a day. What do you do with those 24 hours versus what do I do with those 24 hours?
Exactly.
Because I have the same, I have bills.
Yes.
I have my children. You know, I have things that I have to take care of. And
you also have your dreams.
Yeah. And it's balance, you know? So I think out of my city, I've been able to balance it better than anyone else. So therefore, I'm the king.
No doubt. That's what I'm talking about. No doubt. Now, after studying your music, I see how diverse you are. At times, for example, on your verse on Poison, you could say it's a little violent. Right? But then on your verse on Butterfly, you show a softer side.
Yeah.
So as an artist, is it harder to vocalize violence or to show your vulnerable side?
Definitely the vulnerability side is much difficult to get across. I mean, violence is everywhere.
Okay.
Violence is hip hop, violence and drugs and sex and all that stuff. That's easy, that's easy to write about, easy to, when you're challenging yourself on a record to put a more vulnerable, I guess you could say softer side of you, it can get a little bit difficult. And I know that a lot of artists don't like to go there. I've challenged some artists, I won't say any names, but I've challenged artists to get on different records, and they've told me straight up, like, nah, that don't work for me. Like, I know what I'm doing and it's working for me, and these are the type of records that I'm gonna keep doing. Yeah. Hey, my respects, by all means, do what you gotta do. But I like to be diverse, as you said, and on Poison, it's Poison is the name of the record. It says we're spitting poison. Yes. And it's very violent and very mainstream. But Butterfly was pretty artistic, because shout out to Matty G.
For sure.
We came in together to kind of talk about something that was trending. Yes. So we started thinking toxic relationships. Fair enough. That's very trendy. Yes. The type of toxic relationships that people are in, the traumas and the stuff that they go through. And I was like, I think we need to give a voice to each side. Yes. So the whole concept of Butterfly was mostly focused on her, which was her going from a caterpillar, being in a toxic relationship, to finally breaking free and becoming this, beautiful butterfly that she was meant to be. Yeah. So when we talked about doing the record, I wanted to display a real side, but at the same time, still keeping it within what's trending. Because it's like, if you listen to the verse, it's me more kind of like, it's like my Usher Confessions type of verse. Like, I'm going to tell you how I feel, but I'm still going to defend me at the end of the day. So on that verse, it's kind of like, yeah, I understand that I got some things that I need to deal with. I talk about dealing with like demons and devilish ways, and not being the best man that I should be. But I also talk about what I did for my partner in that relationship, which is basically brought them from, I think the bar is like, you used to ride around in a Chevy, now you're in a Mercedes. Yes. So it's basically like saying, yeah, I might be toxic, I might act a fool sometimes, but at the end of the day, I do care about you. I do want to see you grow. I do want to see you succeed. And even though I might not always show it in the best ways, deep down inside, I still have that soft side. So it took a lot for me to like, not to write it, but like once I put it out, once I like recorded it, it took a lot for me to be like, you know what, I'm gonna put it out, because I was doubting it. I was like, I don't know, this is gonna show I think it is a softer side. It's kind of like it's a whole different Cash. It's
Yes.
not the Cash on Poison or Chitty
Yes.
Bang, or it's completely different. But a lot of kids like that song.
Okay.
Like, you know, I try not to cuss, you know, in that record, and like I think it makes an impact on a lot of people to hear something that they can relate to, instead of just like, oh, my gun and my money and
Of course.
I'm
Of course.
smoking and my Gucci, and, you know,
Yes.
that's, you know. But I really enjoyed that record. So at the end of the day, I would say being more vulnerable, it takes a little bit more from you.
No doubt, no doubt. So how important is it to you to show all your different sides in your music?
I think it's very important, and the reason why I do that is because it's like it's a numbers game. I look at it like, to me, life is math and science.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what do you got to do and how do you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
So when I put music out, I think to myself, if I just stick to this type of record,
Yes.
there's only so much and so many people that I'm going to be able to reach. The more diverse records that I try to create and put out, the bigger the chances are of expanding my audience, having my music fall into the right ears or the right hands to really put me on a much bigger platform than I am already.
Yes.
So strategically, it's something that I always keep in mind, because another thing that I want to mention is I have an album. I haven't put it out, and I have an album, and that album has been ready for about a year and a half.
Wow.
And the original title, and it's still to this day, I haven't changed it, but I'm kind of contemplating, is Spanglish.
Okay.
So the reason why I went with Spanglish is because I strongly believe that in a few years, Spanglish is going to be a genre of its own.
Yes.
Where you're going to have artists that their whole thing is I'm Spanglish.
Yeah.
Like I can rap in English and switch it to Spanish.
Yes.
Like,
No, I see that. I see that.
seamlessly,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's going to catch the ears of a lot of people. So me being able to get on that early on
Yeah.
is extremely important, because in a couple of years, when everybody's making that type of music, I'm gonna be like, bruh, I've been making this music.
Yeah. No doubt.
You know?
No doubt.
So yeah, it's extremely important when I'm putting things together on my album. I wanted it to be so diverse. Like I had an R&B record that I did, I had a reggaeton record that I did, the classic West Coast hip hop records. I had some corridos tumbados. You know what I mean? It's like just so many. I had an EDM track.
Wow.
I mean, the EDM track's probably not gonna come out, but
Yeah.
that's just to say how many different
Yes.
genres I try to dabble in. So.
Yes, no doubt. That's what I'm talking about, man. Okay, man. So now, as a fan, right, who follows you on social media, you know, I see you working hard. You're literally nonstop, right? You do a bunch of interviews. You know, I see you in your shows, and now you're about to go on tour, and you know, in different states. Now, as a hard worker in this chaotic world, right? What do you do to slow down? How do you find rest and peace?
It's hard. It's hard because I'm gonna quote R. Kelly.
Okay. All right. Okay.
My mind is telling me,
Okay.
but my body
It's telling me. Yeah.
it's
Okay.
like,
okay.
man, I get
Yeah.
tired, bro. Like, you know, it's just
Yeah.
sometimes you have to slow down, and you can't sacrifice health for wealth.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's hard. You got to balance it out.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, my home, my bed, being in bed, watching TV, playing Super Nintendo with my kids,
Yeah.
you know, things like that. It's like just normal stuff, taking my kids to the park, going to have lunch, dinner, just normal, relaxed type of stuff is what really slows me down. And then, you know, I kind of recharge. But I guarantee you that every single time that I'm not doing music, I'm thinking about it.
No doubt.
It's like, it's really hard to completely disconnect myself. Like, yeah, there'll be times that I'll turn off my phone and I'll dedicate myself completely to my family, but I can't do that. I
Yeah.
can't really do that too much, because at any given time I can get the phone call that I've been waiting for, or, you know, I always have to be on point. So it gets really hard to like you said, slow down or find that peace. It's like I always feel like, man, I got so much work to do. I got to do this, I got to do that. And then another thing that I keep in mind all the time is that I'm not the only one that wants this dream. You know, I'm not the only person out here trying to be an artist and trying to make something for themselves and their family. And those people are just as hungry or hungrier than I am. So whenever I'm taking a day off, they're probably in the studio. They're probably doing something that it's bettering their career, it's furthering their career, and I'm over here just chilling. But you know, I'm human. We're all human, and at the end of the day, I have to remind myself, like, you cannot work 7 days a week.
Yes.
You know, 16-hour days, 7 days a week in the studio, and like, no, you can't do that. So, at the end of the day, with my kids being my motivational factor, they're also my anchor. What brings my head back, you know, to inside of my head, because my brain is everywhere, and they keep my feet on the ground, and it's like, all right, cool, I gotta kind of just relax today and be daddy, be normal, you know?
So that's what I'm talking about, man. So as far as your hip hop career, right, what's your ultimate goal? How far do you want to take it?
Man, I was asking myself that this morning, because as I was getting ready to come over here, I was just thinking about all the things I have going on right now, and I'm just like, okay, this is a step up. You know, every year, like I see the progress, and I'm very proud and happy with what I'm doing. But I don't really think about an ultimate goal. I don't see it so much as a destination. I see it more as a journey.
No doubt.
You know, and I like to enjoy every, you know, little bit and all the little pieces, good and bad, of the journey, you know. So if I were really to sit down and ask myself, what is my ultimate goal? I mean, it's just to leave something behind, like to open up doors for others like myself, artists that are close to me and that I know have the potential and the talent to do great things, but just leave something behind for the future generations. It's like, I read something about Shaq recently where he was telling his kids, like, I'm rich, you're not. And I support that. But at the end of the day, it's like, so what do you do it for? You do it for just for you? Or, you know, like, I don't just do it for me. Like, I really do it for my kids and hopefully their kids. And I do it so that eventually a couple generations down the line, they're a little bit better off than I was, you know, growing up. And it takes someone to make that sacrifice and say, I'm not gonna live the normal 9-to-5 life. I'm gonna do something, chase something that's gonna be difficult, but it's gonna pay off so much better in the long run. And unfortunately, I probably won't enjoy all the fruits of my labor as much as my children and their children will. So that would be my goal, just making sure they're straight.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. All right, my brother. So after it's all said and done, right, how do you want to be remembered in hip hop?
The door opener. I want to open the door, and I'm not knocking anymore. We're gonna break through. We're gonna knock the door down if they don't open it, because we are a factor. We are a market. Latinos, Spanish speakers, Spanglish, you know, Mexican Americans, Chicanos, whatever you want to call it. You know, Latin Americans, because there's other countries under the U.S. besides Mexico, in case you didn't know that, Karen. So, you know, there's Colombians and Cubans and Argentinians.
Guatemalans.
So it's like we all have a voice. We all have something, a story to tell, and we haven't really been recognized and given our place. And now it's happening. I mean, we had our good runs with like the reggaeton era with Daddy Yankee and all that, but like right now, I feel like we're really getting somewhere. We're not there yet, but we're getting somewhere. You know, there's a lot of artists that are getting the recognition that they deserve on some pretty big platforms. So when I'm done, I just want to be remembered as, that dude opened the door for me, that dude helped me, or maybe not directly, indirectly, I watched him, I watched what he did. And to be honest, I've already had conversations like that with other artists that without me even knowing, like they'll approach me and they'll be like, hey bro, I just want to tell you that, like, even though I don't say much to you or whatever, like I'm just watching what you do and how you do it, and it's motivational, and it like I learned a lot from watching how you move and
Yes.
just kind of being in the background, and I applied what you do to my music, and my projects are coming out much smoother, much better because of what I learned
No doubt.
being around you.
That's what I'm talking about. man.
And that to me is priceless. Like there's no amount of money, like people can't pay you for that. Like
Yeah.
that's something that you make an imprint on someone, and you affect them in a positive manner. That's what life's about, bro.
Okay.
That's you know, I think that's the biggest thing.
So King Cash, the door opener, right?
I don't know about the king part, but
No, hey, El Rey, right?
Yeah,
El Rey, El
and the
Rey.
Santana.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, my brother. So before we end this, can you talk a little bit about your new single "Peligro" and also what your fans can expect in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually really excited about the single Peligro featuring Trap Baby from Rancho Humilde and my boy Cali Chris. We linked up with Trap Baby at my studio out here in Anaheim, and we put the record together. We shot a video within like 2 weeks of doing the record, and it's a Spanish Latino trap style beat and a Spanish trap song, because Trap Baby, most of his music is trap soul and it's all in English, and
Okay.
even he told us when he did the record, like, I need to start doing more Spanish stuff.
Okay.
So it's like we pushed him, we motivated him, and you know, a lot of people like his Spanish stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the record. We shot the video here in San Diego County, actually, at a ranch here in Bonsall. I think
Okay.
that's how you pronounce it.
I don't.
It's off the 76 off of by like Oceanside, I think.
Okay, in Oceanside. Okay, up
I
North
think it's-
County.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
like,
okay.
it's a really beautiful big ranch. I was like telling my homies, it looks like El Chapo's
Oh.
house. But
No doubt,
yeah,
no
the
doubt.
video's great. Shout out to
Yeah.
my boy Pamps.
Okay.
Shout out to Latin Beast TV. It's gonna be on Latin Beast TV.
That's
so
what I'm talking about, man.
expect that mid-November. Like I said, I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah.
My birthday's in November, so
There you go.
hopefully we're gonna drop it like right around my birthday, and that's gonna be like the single that we're gonna push while on the tour. So
Okay.
the fans can expect to hear that single a lot, have it, you know, be on Latin Beast TV and all over the place. The tour starts November 19th. Our first stop is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So if you're out there, expect to see me out there. Say what's up if you know you come to the event. We also have Denver. We have Phoenix, Arizona. We have Las Vegas, Nevada, Reno. We have a date here in San Diego in December, and then we have a date in my city, Santana, in December as well. So
That's what I'm talking about, man.
we're gonna be moving around a lot.
There you go. You know, I'm excited to hear Peligro because I saw the little snippet on Instagram, so I can't wait till you drop it, man.
Yeah, it's fire, bro.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Now, how can people reach you? Like, what are your social media accounts?
I mean, I'm most active on Instagram.
Okay.
So I would say reach out to me on Instagram. It's Cash Mr. 714, and that's just CASHMR 714. I have a Facebook, I have a Twitter, Snapchat, all that stuff. But you know, honestly, Instagram is where I do most of my promoting, most of my posting, and most of my engagement with fans and you know fellow artists that want to work and stuff. That's the best way to reach me. So follow me. You know, send me a DM. I reply. I'm not no Hollywood arrogant person. So I like to talk back to my fans and get feedback about the music and stuff like that. So definitely on there. Instagram would be number one.
No doubt. And before we end this, do you have any shout outs?
Oh man, we're gonna be here for an hour.
All right, fair enough. Let's do
Nah,
it.
I'm just kidding. First of all, shout out to Planet S.O.N.
Thank you.
Man, you guys, without you guys, the artists, you know, don't really have platforms. This is what you guys do is what helps us get out there and be able to reach new people. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm eternally grateful.
Thank you, my brother.
More than anything, I want to shout out everyone that's been a part of this journey. I mean, there's so many people. That's why I said we could be here for an hour.
Yes.
But they know who they are. I mean, my engineer, TC, my boy Cali Chris, my team from Per Productions, Fat Pat, J23 $1 Million, Jay Hustle from La Vuelta Records, my management, the whole Empire team. My boy Droops from Out the House. He's been a huge factor in my career, getting me all these shows with these big artists, putting me on a show with 6ix9ine.
There you go.
Man, bro, love for that. You know, there's so many people, bro. It's just anybody that I've ever worked with or done made a song, anybody that's ever seen value in what I do and reached out and put money in my pocket to make a song, man, grateful, because not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people see talent and hard work and dedication early on and are willing to invest in it. And I've done a lot of features with a lot of artists, and shouts out to all of you. But let's get the videos done because the price is going up.
That's right. All right, my brother. So thank you so much
Appreciate
for
you,
being
man.
here on Drinks with
No,
JD.
thank you.
I'm truly appreciative. Let's end it with the cheers. Is that
Yes,
cool with
sir.
you? All right,
Salud.
There you go.
Let's
Cheers.
go.
All right, my brother. All right. So what do you think?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real natural, bro.